Yeah, let's go then.
We're live. We're live.
Why's man got a mic like that?
And he's fluffed his lines already.
No, he was presenting the show. He was doing all this with his fucking 8210. He was doing. He was already talking before he went live.
I was just playing, innit? You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, you got nerves.
You. No nerves at all.
Ladies
and gentlemen, the boys are back. This is Footballthicko podcast on the Monday, May the 12th. And I've told the lads they've all got mute while I speak over the next few minutes because I am frustrated, but I'm very passionate about this Europa League final. You can see there are two Europa League finalists in this quartet. Lee, Europa finalist Tarrier, and Ken, Europa finalist Dog. Now, people are saying about the fact that we shouldn't be in the Europa League final, that it's been Tottenham's worst ever season, that it's been Man United's worst ever season. But at the end of the day, we're in the cup final. When Wigan got relegated and beat Man City in the cup final, no one could say anything. You beat who is in front of you and you get to that final. You cannot devalue this cup. You cannot devalue the Europa League all of a sudden because the third place team that got knocked out of the Champions League is no longer in the Europa League. Let me say this right now. The minute that they made the Europa League a competition where you let Champions League rejects into it, it became devalued as a motherfucker. They take that away and they dangle a golden carrot for the winner. Sevilla being two of the last four winners. They dangle a golden carrot and say you have a passport into the Champions League next season. Now, if you look at this, therefore, they've added value back to the cup. They've made sure that everyone who played in match day one has got all the way to the final. There's been no shortcuts. There's been no losses and been chucked out of a more Premier Cup. They've had to go all the way through 15, 16 match days. And we are here now. And the two teams that are here now, one of them has won Europa League in the last 10 years and been in the Europa League final and is arguably the biggest football club, biggest sports club in the world, even in dark times. And the other one has been in the Champions League 5 out of the last 9 seasons, one of them as of runners-up to Liverpool. So you're looking at Tottenham and Man United, two teams contesting this in a very bad season for them, a dog shit sandwich season for them in the Premiership. But we are in the Europa League final. And could you argue that any of those teams shouldn't be in the Champions League when you look at the teams that have been in the Champions League group stage this season? I'm talking about teams from Sturm Graz, from Sparta Prague, from Bologna, from Zurich. You trying to tell me that if Man United or if Tottenham weren't in those leagues, they wouldn't be in the Champions League, whether they won their league or whether they were there through merit and runners-up, second, third place, how many places that league gets. You telling me that Tottenham or Man United wouldn't get in it? Yes, I can't speak for Tom, and I'm sure he's going to speak in a minute. It's been a horrible domestic season, a disgusting domestic season, but we've made it to the final. And if we win, we've got silverware. And that, as a Tottenham fan, means more than anything. That means more than anything. We are crying for a cup. The last time we won a cup, I had spiky hair, blonde tints, no lines under my eyes, and I was about 2 stone lighter. All right? Hard to be said. But we're there. I want to win this cup. I'm going to savor this moment. And you know what? When Arsenal was in the Europa League final in 2018, when their luck was down, and all of a sudden they didn't find themselves in the Champions League for the first time under Arsene Wenger, and he was on his way out, this league, this trophy meant everything. They played from match day one to the semi-finals, and they lost to a team that had been brought into it after being eliminated from the Champions League in Atletico Madrid. And nobody was happy about it. They said it devalued the cup. They said, what does it make? You know, how does it help anybody? In 2019, when they lost in Europa League final under Unai Emery to Chelsea 4-0 and came 5th in the league, would they have knocked the cup then? Again, they went from match day one all the way to the final. But would they have knocked it then? We can't knock a cup. based on it's devalued because certain teams ain't in it. That's very wrong of Arsene Wenger, and I rate Arsene Wenger a hell of a lot. That's very wrong of him to say that. Very wrong of him to say that because he knows what this means. And if you ever think, even in their worst times, that teams like Tottenham and Man United should not even be touching that disastrous 36-man, 36-team group table, then I think you're mistaken. So, yes, it isn't the best of times for these teams. But yes, you ask UEFA if they're happy that Manchester United and Tottenham are in Europa League final, because I'm telling you, viewing figures around the world will be glued in to watching this. There'll be viewing figures up and skyrocketing because of this, because of the Premiership being the most lucrative football product around the world. This is going to be big. It's going to help with different time zones because of the time that it's on. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. I think it's been unfair. I think it's unjust. And I must say now, fucking come on, you Spurs. Come on, Tom. What are you saying? What are you saying? Jordan Brown, we ain't doing too much. I'm telling you too much. This ain't a night for banter. This ain't a night for jokes or tomfoolery. This is a night for truths. And I'm telling you right now, you can say we've had a dog shit sandwich season. I would totally agree with anybody. But you only do what you got to do. And in the cup, we've made it to the final.
Yeah. Who wants to go after that?
I would love to go after that, if you don't mind.
Go on, Chris. You take the floor.
Because I heard a lot of talk and absolute bollocks come out of my man's mouth. he tried to make it about Arsenal. Don't know why he mentioned Arsenal. I don't know why he mentioned Arsenal. It had nothing to do with Arsenal, but he still mentioned Arsenal. Spurs have lost 20 times this season. So we need some nuance to your argument, because there's no nuance. There's just a lot of passion and zero nuance. So in that time, you lot have lost 20 games this season. You're now saying that it doesn't matter where you finish in the league, because this is what Arsene Wenger said. If you listen to what Arsene Wenger said, he said you have to finish at a decent position and win that trophy. You can't have 20 losses, be 17th. You're one place off relegation. These are 2 spots off relegation. They've lost 17 times. You can't merit that with saying, oh yeah, we deserve to be in the Champions League football. No, you're in a final of a cup that this season, ironically, is downgraded league. You're trying to say that it gets devalued with the Champions League teams give it value. Listen, Spurs and Man United have lost 7. You've lost 37 times between you this season. That's crazy. The teams in the Conference League are higher in their league than you lot are in the Europa. They're 5th and 6th. Then you've got the Champions League, 1st and 2nd. Then you've got UEFA Cup. We've got 17th and 16th. You actually think they're rubbing their hands at that? They're only rubbing their hands because of the viewing that you're going to give to it, not because of the quality of the competition or the quality of the cup. You've downgraded that wholeheartedly, bruv. And then you want to talk about Arsenal. When Arsenal was in it, as you rightly said, there was Champions League teams in it, which makes it a harder competition. We was 5th in the league, bruv. Not 17, 20 losses. You're actually just disregarding the whole league. That Premier League means nothing. And all you want to do is say, yeah, we made a cup final. This is all pure banter. It's pure. You're saying it's not banter. This is pure banter, bruv. Even I said, listen, your little face-off, Channel 5 special. You can't tell me it's not a Channel 5 special. This cup used to be on Channel 5, for God's sake. And now you man want to give it credence because you're in it. And then you want to look at Arsenal. We're in the Champions League. You got to remember the teams that are in Europa League now finish 6th and 7th. Back in the day, they used to finish 3rd and 4th to get in that competition. We got teams now 6th and 7th that can get into it. Teams that are 17th and 16th can get into the Champions League. Come on, bruv. Come on. You're pulling my leg. You're pulling my leg. And Ken Dog's only doing it straight out for banter because it's Man United Arsenal. That's it. That's it. Pure and simple. You don't think you've got the golden ticket, as Marv said, because you think you can banter. This is Tottenham now. They think they can banter if they win this cup. No one cares if you win this cup. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup. Marv was cussing it, sending all sorts of posts saying Arsenal Channel 5 special. He's saying Spurs, Man United against who was it? I don't know who you was playing. Sparta Prague. He was all sending all that stuff. having knocking the competition. As soon as Liverpool were in it, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Then they get whacked up by Then they get whacked up by Atalanta, and he doesn't want to say nothing. And now he wants to try and give credence. If he never won no trophy, if Liverpool didn't win no trophy this season, he'll be sitting there cussing you, man, wholeheartedly. But now he wants to give it moral high ground. Oh, yeah. Shut up, all three of you. You're chatting shite, man.
Right, come in.
All three of you.
Come in there.
Go on, because Ken Dog, your own legend, Paul Scholes said, I'll swap with Arsenal in a heartbeat, bruv.
Yeah. Can I come in? I think this is good. By the way, the format's great tonight. Listening to each other is very, very nice. If I was you, Chris, I'd be saying exactly the same things because over the last 5 years, you've won 5% of the competitions you've entered in 5 years. Spurs, if they win the Europa League, will have won 5% of the competitions they've entered in the last 5 years. Liverpool have won, look at that, Marv, 20% of the competitions they've entered in the last 5 years they've won. And Manchester United have won 10% and will be at 15% if they win the Europa League. So if I was in your shoes, like I've heard Arsenal fans on your Facebook page in the last 24 hours talking about how trophies don't matter. Trophies don't matter. It's about league position. I'll be saying the same thing, but when you're in a stadium and your team are lifting a trophy, I know you've not had that loads, but that feeling, that's what Lee's talking about, is irreplaceable. And look, I know you want to come in.
So your league titles mean nothing. So your league titles mean nothing.
Let the man finish.
I'm claiming back my time. Yeah. If you give any one of us the choice, would you rather have the Premier League or the Champions League over the Europa League or the League Cup? Of course. But you can't say too much, mate, because you've won nothing again. So Tottenham are in a final. They have the chance to lift silverware. I don't care what any Arsenal fan says. If Spurs win this cup, that's going to hurt. That's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. And it will be the same if Man United win. And who's going to win the game? Me and Lee will talk about that another time.
Not another time. Talk about it today.
Well, we got a face-off coming. I'm looking forward to this chicken face-off. Is it chicken? We have this face-off, yeah?
Chicken.
But Chris, like, I ain't got loads to say tonight because I did my numbers, I did my stats. They're behind me on the screen. And that
Let's have another look. Let's have
another look. I'll get out of the way. Trophy success in the last 5 years. It says it all. And this is, let me just remind you, our worst ever era. Manchester United's worst ever era. Wow. When you look back in a few years' time, we're not going to be talking about who talks about like league positions in 10 years' time. Who cares?
So why is it your worst era then? So why is it your worst era then? So why is it your worst era? If league position doesn't care, why is it your worst era?
I'll tell you why it's our worst era. Because we've played the worst football. We've been terrible in the league. We've been shocking. But
the league position doesn't matter. You just said.
But we're picking up silverware.
Yeah, but you said league position doesn't matter.
In what many people, everyone's calling.
How can this be deemed? How can you use that as a crutch?
Because what everyone's calling
in the same breath, not regarding. Yeah, I know, but where's your league positions now in that time?
Well, I don't care.
Can you show us your league positions?
I don't care.
Show us your league positions in that time.
I'm not going to remember.
Show us. I remember your league positions. I remember your league position. I remember your league position.
This is the thing.
Hold on. They finished seventh.
I'm going to back out now.
Third. They finished seventh, third, eighth, and now God knows where they're going to finish. That's where they finished in that time.
But if they picked up a cup every year and then they're in the Champions League next year,
but you're disregarding the league again because you're just saying basically it doesn't matter where you finish. As long as you win a trophy. I'm not saying that. You are saying that. You are saying that. You just said this is your darkest times, and you got statistics behind you to back it up here by telling me this is your darkest time, yet you're more successful than Arsenal and Spurs.
Bang on.
What's your percentage? What's your percentage there? Can I see the percentage?
Chris, let me tell you one thing.
No. Bend over. Let's see the percentage. So in that time, you finished outside the top four. What? 4 times?
Chris, back in the
You've lost
90s,
17 times, bro. You've lost 17 times. You're
Lee,
now
Mark,
disregarding the whole
in the
league.
90s, in the 80s, Liverpool won 30% of the competitions they entered. In the 90s, Man United won 30% of the competitions they entered. In the 2000s, Man United won 30%. We have seen so much success with trophies. When I talk about our dark era, I'm talking about the number of trophies and the types of trophies we're picking up now doesn't compare to where we were. And it's hard being a Man United fan watching us potentially lift the Europa League versus a Champions League or Premier League. I want to see us back there. But it's very difficult to listen to other people who haven't picked up silverware talking about success in the terms that you haven't won anything. It's really difficult to listen to that.
But you're eating Lee's arse, and Lee hasn't won a thing.
Yeah, but we're Tottenham.
Yeah.
I know we're playing. I know our place,
in our
bro.
40 years, he's seen one trophy.
Yeah, I'd agree.
They're in the final, man. So he's got a reason to celebrate.
But you just said I can't listen to people who have no success yet. In my lifetime,
No.
I've 15 trophies. I've won 15
I didn't say that.
In our lifetime, Lee's won one trophy and 2 league cups.
I said it's difficult to accept criticism
it's not the real cup.
and listen to someone talk about success and talk about how you've had this great season and this is when over the last 5 years you've won.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So you win the Europa League, yeah? And Amorim continues how he has been in the league. Why are you looking for a new manager in December?
Because the standard for Manchester United is winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. That's the standard. That's where we need to be. But by comparison to other clubs, it's really insightful, isn't it, to look at what's on the screen and see compared to other teams who've spent a lot of money. Arsenal and Spurs have spent a lot of money, and Lee recognises they're in a final. That's the difference, right? They're in a final. He's delighted about it.
Oh, over the moon.
There's a chance to win some silverware. At the end of the Chris, you know this. The things I know, you know this.
He knows it. This is why I did the passionate.
Winning the trophy is fantastic. Winning the trophy is fantastic.
Win that trophy.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's irreplaceable.
Fantastic, but you have to.
And it ain't a League Cup. It ain't the Worthing Cup.
Lee,
the Europa League.
Yeah, but Lee, it's a cup. It's a cup that you've cussed. It's a cup that you cussed when Arsenal were in it. It's a cup that you cussed this season by saying Arsenal PSG is not even worthy. Your words, not even worthy of Europa League. And now you're sitting here.
I said it was Europa League.
Now you're sitting. No, you said it wasn't either. Now you're sitting. No, it doesn't matter. Well, either way, you're still cussing it. You say it's a shit tie. Meaning the competition.
Yeah, it weren't glamorous. That group. So
if it's not a glamorous tie and it's worthy of Europa, is Europa glamorous?
Yes. Europa. I know where Europa League stands in the thing.
Come on, Marv. Can you see? I'm twisting man's word back on you. Can you hear that, Marv?
Marv, can you hear that? How? The whole day yesterday.
Hey, Marv.
You're out of order, Chris.
Hey, Marv, tell me. Come on, even Ken
put the pressure on Lee there. You put the pressure on Lee there. Lee said Europa. You put the pressure on him. Said Europa.
Lee's still talking now.
Man said Europa.
Unmute. Let me say this.
How did he unmute himself?
Let me say this.
How did he do that?
It's magic.
Europa.
Let me say this. Let me just say this before we go, and I will look because this is.
We need to go back to Marv soon. I want to hear Marv.
No, but hold on, Marv. Let me just say this. I said and have said since yesterday, probably since we got to the final.
You haven't even
Europa League
points, mate.
Bruv,
I haven't even got 40 points, and you want Champions League football, Marv. Do you know how mad that is? Man, these men want Champions League football. Marv, these men want Champions League football. They've got 40 points, Marv.
Chris is doing his tactics.
Got 40 points, bruv. But
Chris,
Marv, tell me, Marv.
No. It's the romance of football that you can win a cup and be performing badly.
Hold on. Can I just say something, right?
Can I just say there's a couple of things.
Well, this is the world. This is the world. Look, listen, we're going back to where we shouldn't go. Let's let each other talk. What I'm saying here is that I am fully aware of what the Europa League is. A second-tier tournament, and that's why you get 5th and 6th positions in it.
Third tier right now. It's third tier.
Right. Well, it can't be if the Conference League.
17th,
anyway,
17th. Listen, Lee. Before you go on, 17th and 16th are in the final. 5th and 6th are in the final of Conference, bruv. There's quality.
But what's that? But what's that say
That's
about
quality.
the rest of Europe then? If they can't beat the 16th and 17th worst, the
Because
worst
that
teams in
competition
England?
was a bad competition, bruv. Chelsea are in the
hold on.
final of the conference with Real Betis. That's a Spanish team. We
And you would have got no money if you
Italian
bet on
team.
that
We got an
before the
Italian team in
season
the French. We
started.
got an Italian team in the French. No, you couldn't have put money on that because you would never have
No,
said
you would have
Betis.
got no money. You would have got no money. If you would have got no money for saying Chelsea would have made the final, they would have said it's odds on that they're going to get there.
Betis, yeah. Would you?
Oh, I don't
would
know
you have
about
said Betis?
Betis.
Exactly. You don't know about
I didn't look
Betis,
at the
bruv.
cup.
Since Anthony's
Well,
got there,
about three good teams in it. About three good teams in it.
Listen, as Jose said, there's better quality in the conference than there is in the Europa.
Oh, of course there is. Of course there is. And where did he get knocked out of?
The
Oh,
final.
Europa League. Yeah, Europa League. But let me just say this, right? We are fully aware of where we stand in the tier of football, in the hierarchy of football. I'm not going to argue that. I'm also not going to argue how dog shit this has been. But if you really think that this set of players that last year came fifth and lost or out on a Champions League position with a game to go is gone that bad from 5th to 17th, then Chris, I think you are smarter than that. I'd also say
hold on. No. You stop there. That's a point. So we can let's
so we're that bad.
Us three are gonna comment on that, yeah? Us three, not you, Lee. Did you hear what he just said?
Say again, man.
He said a team, if you think a team that's finished 5th and is now 17th has gone that far back, then well, Chris, I think you should not hold a minute.
That's neither here or there, really, for me.
But I could go into why that is. But I've done that on this.
So why have you gone from 5th to 17th?
Because I think the manager's done the wrong thing. He's done the wrong thing. He set us up. It's so easy to play against. And we've been caught out.
The league
position is irrelevant now.
Wigan
now. And what do we say about Wigan? Everyone cusses Wigan, you idiot.
Yeah. What but says the FA Cup was devalued that year because they won it.
Idiot, Tom, you look like a fool right
now.
What
did they say? They said the magic of the cup, Tom.
When Wigan won the FA Cup in 2012 and got relegated, did that devalue the FA Cup?
A man said if you think that we've gone backwards that much, they've lost 20 times, and these other idiots who are boasting last season about winning the FA Cup. What do you mean? Let's see where you are. You're 17th. You've lost.
Next season. Let's see. We're 17th again. I'll be surprised if we are.
Where do you think we're going to be next season? Top 5?
I didn't say that. But I don't think you'll see us.
I'm asking you.
The same as I said this year. I reckon we'll be in the top 10.
You said top 5 this year. You said top 5.
I said top 8.
You said
with a chance of getting the Champions League. Marv, you know what I said.
I've got the text and the voice note.
No, on the podcast. Put on the podcast.
When was that for?
At the start of the season, when we gave out our different predictions, you lot were cussing me because I said, and you were cussing me for saying so low.
I expect Tottenham to be in the top 5, top 4.
Yeah, and I said we got every chance because Chris kept saying, Chris kept regurgitating that phrase, every chance, because I kept saying we got every chance. I don't think Spurs are as bad as they are. In fact, I know they're not as bad as they are. What happened is, I'm not even blaming it on injury.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that we've got really good players that are better than
the Europa League final. Based on
it's a bad competition, you prick.
Well, look, we're not going to agree on that. But what I'm saying,
hold on. Hold on. Before you go on, are you really now trying to tell me that Europa League is a good competition when you both sat there and cussed Arsenal for?
No, I think it's a good second tier.
2 years ago,
that's what I'm saying.
No. Hold on. 2 years ago, both of you cussed Arsenal. In fact, and Mom, all three of you sat there and cussed Arsenal.
They were in it 2 years ago. They were in the final.
When they years ago, you said it was embarrassing. You said it was embarrassing. No, Marv, you only wanted to win it because you put a spin on it, you prat. Don't even give it that nonsense. Man said, I wanted to win it. You're spinning it. You're spinning. You're all chatting shit. The man is saying it's all documented. It's all documented. We've got copious amounts of Footballthicko where it's documented. Yeah, you man are sitting there cussing Arsenal for being in Europa. Now you're in it. Now you're in a final. It's a good competition. If Liam gone out in the quarterfinals, you said, "Oh yeah, worst competition ever."
I don't think I would.
You would have Lee all the time, mate. Yeah, like I said, if Lee's not involved, it's no good. Now Lee's involved, it's the best thing since sliced bread.
What I would say
this year, I'm gonna say something like we was in it 2 years ago. Liverpool were in it 2 years ago. I wanted to win it to round off, to make the set complete. That's why I wanted the Europa League so badly last season. However, this season, after falling out the Champions League, if there was a way we could enter the Europa League and win it, I'd bloody well take it. Do you know what I'm saying? I would take it. Obviously, the format has changed. So Champions League teams can no longer fall back into the Europa League. But if it could still be on, I would take the Europa League in a heartbeat. Don't give it
Marv,
down, man.
can I just say
want
this?
that.
When
Yeah.
you won the UEFA Cup in 2001, right? You
Yeah.
went from match day one to
my
the
God, it's
final
like
and you won it.
2001. When 2001,
Listen,
the Europa
I
League was a
remember
sick
that. We
competition.
played
Then you
out-
prat.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
it doesn't
God.
matter. You can call it
Oh
what you
my
want, Chris.
days!
You
Come
can
on,
call it what you
man!
want,
Come on,
harder.
man! You man are
Can I just
ridiculous.
say
You know what's
something? You can
scary? You know
call
what's scary? How you man all flip flop. It's
No,
scary.
no.
No
I'm
wonder
just
why the
saying.
world's
No, I wanted to
full.
win it last
No wonder
season.
why.
What are you
No,
talking
Marv.
about?
Marv, stop
Put the
saying that.
banks
Stop
aside.
saying.
Yeah,
I
can I
wanted to
speak,
win it.
though?
Stop saying you wanted to win it because the season
wanted
before that, when
Liverpool to win it.
Arsenal were in it, you was cussing
Yeah,
the
but that's
competition.
banks, innit?
No,
That's
don't
banks,
get
'cause
no,
you know
no.
it's
It's not
Yeah,
banks.
and that's
No,
what
it's not
we
banks.
got to remember.
You know
There's
what
That's the
Arsenal
scary
banter,
part.
mate.
But no,
How is it
we're not
off?
doing that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that because
for
when you lot
20
get shown up, when you lot get shown up, it's banter.
But
When you
that's
lot get
why I
shown,
was
when you lot
cussing
get shown
Arsenal,
up, when you lot get shown
they're
up,
the
it's
longest
banter.
serving team
No,
in
no,
the
no. When you
Champions
get
League.
shown up, how come
From
when you get
now
shown
on,
up,
I'm
it's
putting
banter?
banter at
didn't
the
win it,
start
and
of
then
my
those in the
banterist
Europa.
texts.
But no one's
Tottenham
listening
was-
to you, Lee. No one's
Tottenham
listening.
was the-
Full disclosure.
I mean, Arsenal was the
This is
longest
bad.
serving team in the Champions League. If you look at it, yeah, they're the team that's been it the longest and have never won it. So when they fell into the Europa League, you expect them to do something. They couldn't win that either. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to say. If it was me having a dig at the Europa League, I can have a dig because I know Liverpool have won that in the past. Arsenal ain't got no history in that competition either. You can't dig out teams for reaching the Europa League final, no matter
Thank you.
what the format,
Thank you.
no matter who's in it, if you ain't done it yourself.
So why was you?
When
So
you
why
do
was
it
you? So
yourself-
why was you in WhatsApp yesterday digging out Tom and saying, Tom, you're in a Europa Cup final, it's embarrassing, and cussing Lee at the same
Yeah,
time? Why was you
because
doing
I'm
that?
just-
Was that
because
banter?
simply
Is that
he's
banter?
winding us up, man.
Was
He's
that
winding us
banter?
up.
No, he wasn't
simply
winding you up
because it
because
was
you lot
because
said
of-
something to him, he didn't
because
like
of
it,
their
so he
league
bit back.
form.
But I guess it's
because
banter.
Yeah,
that
it's
banter?
because of their league form. Yeah, it's
Was it
because of their
banter?
league form. I can take like
Was it
United are
banter?
flipping. We're United in the table, 16th, something like that. Of course, I'm gonna take the P.
Yeah,
But
it
they've
doesn't-
still
why-
managed.
you can't take the piss
but
if it
they've
doesn't mean
still-
nothing. How can you take
But
the
they've
piss if it doesn't mean
still
nothing?
managed. They've still managed to get themselves into a European final, and if they win that, yeah, that is
We're in the-
3 trophies.
Can I
in
just say
3
only
seasons,
one team
man.
can win that? And Marv, so what happens? So that you can say
So you
everyone
would take the Europa
so
League. You wouldn't
so
take the
you're
Europa
telling me
League
so
this
you're
season.
telling me answer this question. You're telling me now, yeah, as a Liverpool
Yeah.
fan,
Yeah.
you would rather finish the league 3rd, 8th, and 17th, and said I won't swap and win those
No one
trophies.
wants to
No.
finish
Hold on. Because by your logic, you're telling me now, but it doesn't matter where you finish in the league. So if you finish 3rd like Man United, finish 8th like Man United, finish 17th or 5th, 16th for Man United, I'm going to finish now. You're telling me
Yeah.
you'd rather have that and win those trophies that they've just won than beat Arsenal. That's what you're
Then
saying.
be, I'd rather. Yeah,
I'd have the cup. I'd have the cup because I don't. Man United ain't going to come here again.
So
Man
3
United
different
coming here
managers.
again.
Why not, Lee? Why Man United not coming there again?
One of these 2 teams
Bruv,
up and down.
we
are
all
gonna
know.
be playing Champions League football with a trophy in hand. Arsenal have won nothing. I don't mind. You can win.
We
nothing
all
one
know-
Season. You can win nothing 2 seasons.
No, Marv, it's a yes or Marv, it's a yes or no question. Marv, it's a
seasons.
yes or no question. Would
No,
you rather
I can't
be,
answer.
Marv, it's a yes or no question. Would you
All right,
rather
I'll
be
try and
Arsenal?
answer.
So you're telling me you'd rather be Man United right now, what they've done in the last 3 years, than be Arsenal who finished 2nd 3 years in
I'll
a
tell
row,
you what,
challenge for 2.
I can't answer that in yes or no. But
Champions
what I
League
can
semi-final,
tell you-
Champions League
or what I
semi-final.
can tell you, if Manchester United win
I'll
the
take
No,
the
no,
cup.
Marv. So Lee, you take the cups and 3 different managers.
Yeah, I'd have the cups.
So at the
The
beginning
game's
of last
about
season,
glory. The game is about glory. You
beginning of
told me
last
that.
season, beginning of last season, you was talking about stability.
If I was Ben you,
at the beginning of last season,
this?
no, I'm talking at the beginning of last season. You was talking about stability, and you want stability at Tottenham. Now
Yeah.
you're saying you want to get rid of the manager who's about to win you a trophy that you've never won. Well, a trophy you haven't won in years. It's your first
Yeah.
major trophy since '91, and he's still going to get sacked.
2008. Yeah, but we
2001.
know why.
So 1991, sorry, 1991.
All right, you're going to say that. But let me say, then I'll come back
So
to you
what
on
would
that.
you rather have?
Look-
10 years of winning nothing or Europa League?
No, I said the last 3 years, Mark. We're talking about the last 3
They've
years.
had that. They had that.
What a
They
silly
didn't. Know.
question.
And their manager
Silly.
said 4th was like a trophy, which I agree because of where they were. But what I'm saying is, I'll speak. Let me say 2 things. First thing for Tottenham, right? At the end of the day, it's been a terrible season, right? And we know that the manager will pay for it with his job. Yesterday again
How can
showed
he
that
pay? But why?
because, bruv, at the end of the day,
You're about to win a
we scored-
trophy. League position
Yes.
doesn't matter. You've stated.
No, it does matter.
Oh,
but what I'm saying is,
now
in
it
this
matters.
moment, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't
Missed
matter
the
now.
point
But
completely.
I'm talking overall. It matters. Of course, we don't want to be 17th every year. But you're telling a fan who hasn't won nothing, and they gave up on the league fucking quite a while ago because they put all the eggs in this basket. Hence, why you've never seen these centre backs play outside of the European games, right? You're telling me that that's not good. That the league matters. Of course, it doesn't matter now because we can't go down. So we put all our eggs in the basket, and we are literally at a Bilbao or bust game. Whatever happens, the manager's got to go because I don't think over a consistent set of games where it'll be twice a week when we've got Europe or if we get there and the league, he can do it because he sets us up to be too open. And we see that more and more. For some reason, he hasn't done that in the last couple of European away games, and we've got clean sheets. And if he'd done that in the league, even when we had injuries, he would have fared better. He would have been higher up.
Have you seen the quality in Europa League compared to the Premier League?
Fair enough, Chris, but I would say this: Man United, if that's your opinion, but Man United and Tottenham, I think I'd be.
It's a fact.
Okay,
it's going to be a cracking final.
You're telling me Dildo Glimp would come top 10 in the Premier League? Shut up, bro.
Well, they just beat Lazio.
I think
No,
we
bro.
put that aside. What I'm saying is, on this occasion,
I said Lazio. Do you know who
on this
Lazio are now?
occasion,
You're talking about fucking Batiste.
You're talking about
1994.
1994. You're talking about 1994.
Batiste, Lazio. Where are these teams now, Chris? Where are these teams?
Who said Batiste?
Batiste, Real Batiste. You're talking about them.
No, I'm not saying Betis are good though, am I? I said Betis are high up in their league. They're more quality than Spurs right now.
But who cares? Like,
you're kind of names. You're just going for names. You're just going for name. You're just saying, "Oh, Lazio, AC Milan."
Yeah, I am.
These ain't been six since 1990, bruv. What are you on about?
Okay, but then when you was in Europa League and you beat Milan and you beat Napoli,
Lee, I cussed Europa League. Lee, again, it's documented. You can see me cussing Europa League, you mug. I'm not like you, flip flop, because I'm in it. It's stick. I'm not like you, man. When Arsenal was in the Carling Cup semi-final, I didn't give a rat's.
So Chris,
I didn't give a rat's.
Let me just say this. So,
I'm not like you, man.
So Chris, fair enough, Chris. But I can tell you this now: if we win this Europa League trophy, we are going to have one hell of a party, and we're going to be in the same competition as you next year. And I won't say we're better than you. We're not better than you. I know that for damn well. But at the end of the day, we'll be doing the same things as you, and I can tell you we won't be 17th next year, and we'll have a trophy. We'll have a trophy. As a fan, I couldn't give a fuck about second. I couldn't give a fuck about third. I couldn't give a fuck about fourth, fifth, sixth. Give me the Audi Cup. Give me the Charity Shield. Give me the fucking ZDX Cup, the Anglo-Italian Cup. Give me fucking the Zenith Data Systems Cup. Give me any cup. I don't want second. It's not in sticker books, Chris.
Trophies ain't the sticker books even no more, you mug. I told you this last time you tried to use that same joke.
Wherever
the same way you tried to use the same shit joke last time. I told you last time.
Bruv,
there's no more trophies in sticker books.
You want a cup. You want a cup. You do not want seconds. You want Arteta out because he hasn't won you a cup. Yet he stabilised that club. And he's got you that close. That close, bruv. He's got you that close and you want him out. You want Ange out, and he's this close to getting you a cup, bro. You want Ange out, and he's this close to getting you a cup. You ain't won money in 1991. When you trust the process, we're in different ways.
Stop it,
Chris. Stop it. He's that close, bro, to the pinnacle. The pinnacle. Arteta's that close to the pinnacle, and you want him out.
Ange is this close to the pinnacle. How many more years? Ange is this close to the pinnacle, and you want him out. This close to the pinnacle, and you want him out, Ange.
Yeah, at the end of it, that's the end of his journey for us.
You gave us 30 minutes of chatting absolute wass of how big this trophy is and how sick it is. But yeah, if Ange wins it, he's still got to go.
Yeah, because sometimes that's the end of a manager's journey.
Guys, we're going around in circles, and this is why Boris Johnson was in charge. And this is how Hitler reigned supreme, because there's wild people out there with wild thoughts, guys.
Guys, that's fiery stuff.
Zero consistency, guys. Love.
I was meant to see at the show. Fiery stuff, guys. Great show. We'll see you next week. They've just gone. That was fiery, bro. Yes.